Okay, so on Friday you learned how to graph equations and how to write equations of circles in the video. Today we're going to take what we learned on Friday, writing those equations and graphing them, and we're going to add a piece to it, and it's called translating. What we're going to do is we're actually going to move that circle that we graphed. And so some tips that you're going to want to know before we start is that if we move left or right, that's going to pertain to our x value. Left is always going to be negative. Right is going to be positive. So when we write it in our equation, that means it's actually going to be opposite. So for this one, it would be x plus a number. And then for this one, it would be x minus a number, because it's opposite from what you think. Then if it's moving up or down, that's our y value. Up is always positive. Down is negative. And so if it's positive, then in the parentheses it's going to be negative or minus. And then if it's negative, in the parentheses it's going to be positive. So that's going to help you as you do these. So looking at number 1, on the first couple, we're going to graph the original, and then we're going to graph the translated one so you can see how they move. So looking at number 1, if we graphed x squared plus y squared equals 16, since there's no numbers here, we know that the center is at 0, 0, so I'd put my point at 0, 0. And then we need to graph our radius. And so to get our radius, we take the square root of 16, which is 4. Okay? So that means we're going to go right 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go up 4, down 4, and to the left 4, and graph our circle. All right, now the translation that we're doing is that we're going to move this circle to the left 3. So basically the easiest way to do this is you're going to take all the points and move them to the left 3. So I'm going to start with my center and move it over 1, 2, 3. I'm going to move this one 1, 2, 3. I'm going to move this top one over 1, 2, 3. This one over 1, 2, 3. And this bottom one over 1, 2, 3. Was that hard? No, we're just moving the dot 3 places. So then there's our new circle, and it's shifted left 3. Now, we're going to rewrite our radius, our center, and our equation. So the center was 0, 0. We moved it left 3. Is left positive or negative? Negative. So my center would actually be, is left x or y? X. So this would be negative 3, 0 is our new center. Did our radius change? No, it stayed the same. So our radius was 4. It's still 4. Okay? And now when we write our equation, only my x values changed because we went left 3. So my new equation would be x. And remember, it's the opposite of this. So it would be x plus 3 squared plus y squared equals 16. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, let's try number 2. So in number 2, I want to go ahead and graph my regular equation. So x squared plus y squared equals 4. There are no numbers here, so that means my center is at 0, 0. My radius would be 2. So from the center, I'm going out 2 in every direction. So from here, we want to move this graph up 5. So I'm going to start with my center, and I'm going to move each point up 5. So my center's here. And actually, once you move the center, since the radius isn't changing, what is the radius? 2. So from the center, I know I just need to go out 2 in each direction. And there's my new graph. Okay, so if I went up 5, is that x or y? Y. So that means my center, it was 0, 0. Now it's going to be 0 and positive 5 since it went up. My radius stayed the same. Y'all told me it was 2. And so when we write our equation, my x squared stays the same. Then it would be plus y, the opposite of 5 is minus 5 squared, equals 4. Okay, how do y'all feel about that? Is everybody good? Okay, let's try one where we move not just left or right or up or down. Let's do one that uses both. So let's look at number 4. So in number 4, I'm not going to make you graph the original this time. They want us, our center, let's go ahead. I know our center is 0, 0. They want from the center to go left 6, up 2. So left 6 would be negative 6, right? Up 2 is positive 2. So from the center, we're going left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and up 2. So my center is negative 6, 2. What was our radius in the original equation? 1. So it's still 1. So from there, I'm going to go out 1 in each direction. There's my translated circle, and now I just have to write my equation. So my equation would be x, since it's negative 6, it would be x plus 6 squared plus y minus 2 squared. And then the back just stays the same, so it would be equal to 1. Okay. Any questions there? Is this as simple as Friday's lesson? Okay. I will do one more, and then we'll look at some other things. So in 5, they want us to go right 4, so that's a positive 4, and up 1. My original center is at 0, 0, so starting from the origin, we're going right 4 and up 1. My radius is what? 3. So from there, I'm going to go out 3 in each direction. And draw your circle. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. Okay, so my new center is going to be exactly what the translation tells me. So it says 4, 1. So my new center is 4, 1. My radius, you told me, was 3, so that stays the same. Now when I rewrite my equation, it's going to be x. Since both of these are positive, that means in the equation it's going to be x minus 4 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 9. Okay, No questions regarding translations at all. Everybody's fine. Okay? Now, I want to look at the equations of circles notes next. And so this sheet is what we're going to look at next. Now, this 1 through 6 is kind of a recap of what we did Friday. So looking at number 1, they tell us that our center is at 2, 5, our radius is at 3, and they want us to write the equation. So we're putting it in this form. My h is my x, my k is my y. So if I put it in that form, it's going to be x minus 2 squared plus y minus 5 squared. And then all I have to do is square my radius, and my radius squared is 9. Okay. Let's look at 3. So in 3, both of our numbers in the center are actually negative. So that's going to change our equation because our equation originally is minus. So this would be x, since it's minus a negative is plus, so it would be x plus 1 squared plus y plus 9 squared. And then what happens when you square the square root of 15? It just gives you 15. Very good. Okay. What about 5? What's different about 5? It gives you the diameter instead of the radius. So what would we need to do there? Divide that by 2. And so our radius would actually be 6. So if we write our equation, that's going to give me x plus 4 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals 36. Okay. Do we have any questions about that? About just writing simple equations? Okay, do we need to go over the translation part 2 right there, which is what we actually just did? Do we need to do a few examples of those? No? All right, well then flip to the back for me. Okay, so normally when we write an equation, we need our center and our radius in order to write it. Here, they don't actually give us our radius, so they want us to find it. So if I had a circle and they gave me the center and they gave me a point on the side, what would I need to find? The distance, okay? The distance from the center to the side, and that's our radius. That's what we need to find. I just wanted to make sure you made the connection of why we do the distance, because we're trying to find that actual length from the center to the side. So let's try number 16. What I suggest is that you label your points x1, y1, x2, and y2. And then we're going to plug it into this distance formula. So that would be 8 minus 5 squared plus 9 minus 3 squared. I know 8 minus 5 is 3. 3 squared is 9. 9 minus 3 is 6. And 6 squared is 36, and so when I add those together, that gives me square root of 45. Now, does 45 have a perfect square in it?
Yes.
It does?
9 and 5.
9 and 5. So 9 times 5. So that's going to be 3 square roots of 5, right? Is my radius. Okay, let's try one of those that has some negatives to make sure we know how to do that. So let's look at 20. So in 20, I'm going to go ahead and label x1, y1, x2, y2, and then I'm going to plug into my formula. So that's going to give me negative 8 minus a negative 3 squared plus 2 minus 6 squared. So negative 8 minus a negative 3, that's the same thing as negative 8 plus 3, which is a negative 5. Negative 5 squared is 25. Plus 2 minus 6 is negative 4. Negative 4 squared is 16. If I add 25 plus 16, that's going to give me square root of 41. So my radius is just going to be square root of 41. Okay, do we need to do another one of those? Are we okay plugging it into the distance formula? Okay, so the last thing that I want to show you today is how to write the equation when you're not given the radius. So we're combining what we just did with writing an equation. So let's look at number 22. So the first thing we need to do is we need to find our radius. So I'm going to label x1, y1, x2, and y2 so that I can plug into the distance formula. So we're going to do the square root of 7 minus 2 squared plus 4 minus 3 squared. And that's going to give us 7 minus 2 is 5. 5 squared is 25. Plus 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 squared is 1. So this is the square root of 26. Now, we need to plug into the equation of a circle. So we need our center and we need our radius. So our equation will look like x minus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared. And what do you get when you square square root of 26? 26. Okay, let's try one more of those with some negatives just to make sure we're good with that. So let's look at 27 here. So in 27, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to label x1, y1, x2, and y2 so it's easy to plug in and find the distance. So we're finding the distance from the center to the point on the circle. That would be negative 7 minus a negative 2 squared plus 8 minus 4 squared. So our distance is going to equal negative 7 minus a negative 2 is actually negative 7 plus 2. So that would give us negative 5. And I know that negative 5 squared is 25. Plus 8 minus 4 is 4, and 4 squared is 16. And so 25 plus 16 is 41. So I get square root of 41. Now we're ready to plug into our equation of a circle. So we're going to use our center and our radius. And our equation will look like x. And since this is a negative 2, it would be x plus 2 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals, and then when we square the square root of 41, that is going to give us just 41.